Yo, what's up guys? Kyle Peck here, and I am getting ready for the NFL 2021 draft. They're about to pick their first pick now, and I'm going to react to all 32 picks. So, if you're ready to watch me react naturally to all of these picks, you're going to be very excited. Probably. Enjoy.
Ah!
I mean, come on. That was pretty obvious. Yeah. Best quarterback in this draft class, and yeah, I'm excited to see how Trevor Lawrence does. It's gonna be quite the thing. Yeah, that was very expected. I mean, come on, it's Zach Wilson. It's Zach Wilson. It wasn't gonna be Trevor Lawrence. It was gonna be Zach Wilson. Yeah. Whew. All right. Well, here we go. Niners pick is next. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Oh my god. Oh my god, thank God he didn't take Mac Jones. Whew. Wow. Yes! Yes!
Kyle?
Yeah, that was very expected. Kyle Pitts, generational tight end. Yep, that was very expected. And Kyle Pitts is going to be on a very high-powered Falcons offense with Matt Ryan in tow.
John?
Wow, they really wanted the rapport. So they'll take the rapport for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase rather than protecting their quarterback. Okay. All right. There are other offensive tackles available, and he'll have really good rapport with Jamar Chase. So I'm looking forward to seeing that quarterback wide receiver combo.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, Devontae Smith was the most popular pick at the time for to get picked by the Dolphins, but Jalen Waddle had been the better wide receiver separator. And yeah, I mean, regardless, Tua's going to be thrown to a favorite Alabama wide receiver, if not Jamar Chase. And Jamar Chase just got taken to the Bengals, so yeah, this is some nice rapport for both teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Penei Sewell now gets taken to the Lions, and I thought Penei Sewell would get taken to the Bengals, and Jamar Chase would get taken to the Dolphins, but it got switched around. Jamar Chase got taken to the Bengals, Jalen Waddle got taken to the Dolphins, so there was a need for the Lions to take an offensive tackle. Wide receiver was their biggest need, but they couldn't pass up on Penei Sewell. How could you pass up on Penei Sewell? He's literally the best offensive tackle in this draft, and the Lions just got Penei Sewell. So, yeah, this at this point was very expected. Wow. J.C. Horn. Okay. All right. Yeah. Patrick Surtain was not a really good fit. He had always been expected to be picked up by the Cowboys, which would be the 10th pick. But J.C. Horn's a really good cornerback. I mean, he's amazing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing a guy like J.C. Horn in the Panthers' backfield. He's going to be a beast. He is really going to be a beast. Wow. Wow. Oh, the Cowboys are going to be pissed. Oh, man. Oh. Oh, man. Oh, Dallas, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Yeah, that would make the most sense for them. Yeah, that I'm glad it wasn't super crazy, but the Eagles decided to trade up for the Cowboys' 10th position, and the Cowboys went back to the 12th position. And the Eagles just took their wide receiver, Devontae Smith, and yeah, that would be a nice pick. I mean, I wasn't really expecting the Cowboys to take the wide receiver pick, but maybe the Giants, who have the 11th pick. That's the next pick currently. So they could have taken Devontae Smith, but I guess the Eagles were trying to make sure they got their wide receiver, and they just got their wide receiver. So the first trade's a little scary, but maybe there's going to be a few more trades here. We'll see.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's bonkers. Wow. I mean, they got a third quarterback. I got a future franchise quarterback. But Chicago fans, I honestly don't know what to say. I mean, you don't need Andy Dalton. You didn't want him in the first place. Nick Foles is still there. Okay. This is gonna be great. Man, Chicago, a 3 quarterback head. Yeah, that's my hope is that Chicago can do what is best for the quarterback schematic, and hopefully Justin Fields can take it from there. So what ended up happening is the Bears were at 20, and they traded up to get the Giants pick at 11, and now the Giants are at the 20th pick. And the Bears took Justin Fields. Yeah. Okay. I almost didn't hear that for a second there. Micah Parsons is now a Cowboy. Alright, so they traded back into the 12th pick from their 10th pick because they didn't get their cornerback. So now they went in to getting Micah Parsons, linebacker from Penn State. Supposed to be the best linebacker in the draft class. And yeah, it serves a need. It serves a need for the Cowboys defense, and it wasn't really as big of a need as a cornerback, but considering that they couldn't get Patrick Surtain or J.C. Horn, and they traded back, they got the next best defensive player possible. And so, yeah, I like this pick for them. But they do need to get a cornerback. The Cowboys do need to get a cornerback in the second round. Sometime in the second round. Yeah. I mean, come on. That's the next best defensive tackle. Yeah. It was supposed to be Christian Darrisaw originally for the Chargers, but because Rashawn Slater hadn't gotten picked yet, and he fell so far back, yeah, Rashawn Slater was the next best pick. They had to take an offensive tackle. They had to protect their future quarterback in Justin Herbert of the Los Angeles Chargers. and they just got a much better offensive tackle, in my opinion, which is Rashawn Slater.
Why?
Yeah. Okay, so the Jets traded up from their 23rd pick, their second pick in the draft, all the way to the 14th. And so the Vikings traded back into the Jets pick for the 23rd pick. The Vikings got a 3rd and 5th round draft picks for this year. And the New York Jets got inner offensive lineman Elijah Vera Tucker. And this is very interesting because I had the Vikings either taking an inner offensive lineman or an edge rusher. So I'm a little surprised that the Jets were willing to take an inner offensive lineman when an edge rusher could have really fallen into their laps. I guess they really wanted to receive better protection for Zach Wilson. So I guess that could be their meaning. I'm not completely sure. But initially I had the Vikings going for Elijah Vera Tucker, not the Jets. So I'm assuming that the Vikings at this point are taking an edge rusher in their 23rd pick. But next pick is the Patriots. Do they take Mac Jones?
Matt?
Yeah. Essentially, Mac Jones fell right into the Patriots' hands, and that was expected at this point. Yeah, they didn't need to trade up. They didn't need to trade back. They got the last best quarterback that would have been picked up in the first round, and so, Mac Jones from Alabama is essentially the best pocket passer between Trey Lance and Justin Fields. That's why initially the 49ers were so enamored by his pocket passing ability. I think it was because they partially mimicked in the same vibe as, Steve Young's, Jeff Garcia, Alex Smith. It was weird because Mac Jones was originally supposed to get picked early on in the second round of the draft back in January. And then he had his pro day, and then, he had the Senior Bowl early February, and all of a sudden, he started vaulting up that far up to the point where he could have been picked as the 3rd best quarterback in the draft. And I did not agree with that, and obviously a lot of us were in the same boat, that Mac Jones shouldn't have been picked 3rd. And we were right. I'm excited for the Patriots. They get a franchise quarterback to ride under Cam Newton, and I guess we'll see how the Patriots revamp with Mac Jones. Okay, yeah. So the Cardinals have taken linebacker Zaven Collins from Tulsa. But they're using him as an edge rusher, I'm hearing? They need a linebacker, but maybe they're going to rotate him between linebacker and edge. I'm not sure, but it's sounding like that. But they do get a linebacker regardless, or maybe a rushing, edge linebacker. Is that a thing? Anyway, they get Zaven Collins, and they have a need. They couldn't take cornerback. That was their biggest need, at least in my opinion. But linebacker was their next best need, and they got a linebacker in Zaven Collins. Great job, Cardinals. I hope you use Zaven Collins well. That's my only caveat here. Yeah. Alex Leatherwood, offensive tackle for Alabama. Honestly, they needed more defensive help. I have their needs being inner defensive lineman, then offensive tackle, and then linebacker. So it fits a need pretty well for the Raiders. I have them going at least either for Christian Barmore, which is the best inner defensive lineman, or Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, the linebacker. It's not out of the norm for them to take an offensive tackle. I am a little surprised that they took Leatherwood, but Leatherwood, Tevin Jenkins, they were all possibilities for the Raiders for me. And I think Leatherwood was the better of those two. So the Raiders felt like they needed to, I guess, protect their main quarterback, which for the Las Vegas Raiders, it's either Derek Carr or Marcus Mariota, their backups. So yeah, Jalen Phillips. I had Jalen Phillips as the highest edge rusher in the draft. And Jalen Phillips, he does have injury concerns, but they have been trumped by his pro day and his athletic abilities. He's clearly gone to the point where he no longer feels like he's injured. So, Jalen Phillips is... it's very close between Jalen Phillips and Kwity Paye. So, I'm happy for the Dolphins for taking an edge rusher here. Yeah, Jamin Davis. So, interestingly enough, Jamin Davis is a linebacker from Kentucky, for those who don't know. And he wasn't originally a first-round draft pick. He was supposed to be a second-round draft pick early on when the draft was at its infancy. And so it was only recently that Jamin Davis started to develop his athletic abilities in his pro day and his practice with actual NFL analysts. And apparently he got vaulted pretty high up, to the point where even Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was getting pushed back. And so I am very intrigued to seeing how Jamin Davis does. And you know, in fact, I actually, in my last mock draft, I actually had Jamin Davis at 19, literally on the Washington football team. So this was a very smart pick. It was the most biggest need for the Washington football team, and now they can set their sights forward on their next draft pick. So I'm excited to see how the Washington football team goes from here. Wow. Kadarius Toney? What? That's surprising to me. Here's why. Kadarius Toney, while he is a great wide receiver, I get it. I get it for anyone who's hating. As of recent, because of his, I guess, issues with anger and fighting other potential teammates, he got vaulted back, in my understanding, to the middle second round of this draft. But I guess the New York Giants really wanted a wide receiver, so they just decided, okay, we'll let the Bears take our 11th pick for a quarterback, and we'll just find the next best wide receiver from there, which, Elijah Moore, Rashad Bateman, Rondale Moore, Terrace Marshall Jr., Kadarius Toney. Of those 5 wide receivers that fell out of the top 3, Kadarius Toney was essentially number 6 for me. So I'm a little surprised that they decided to get a slot wide receiver like Kadarius Toney. I guess they needed another wide receiver. I originally thought they would go linebacker and edge, but I guess they're looking to get as many weapons as possible for Daniel Jones, their main quarterback for the New York Giants, and, well, I'd say you got it. Kwity Paye. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, that was a need for them. I had them initially... So the Indianapolis Colts took Kwity Paye, edge rusher for Michigan. And I originally thought that they were going to take an offensive tackle in Tevin Jenkins, more likely. Maybe Christian Darrisaw, but they did need an edge rusher. That was a pick for them. That was a need for them. But I had them initially taking an offensive tackle or even a cornerback. So this is a nice pick, especially with Kwity Paye essentially being now the second best edge rusher out of the draft. So he is now a Colt, and I am happy for the Colts taking a decision to get an edge rusher. So maybe they take an offensive tackle, maybe they take a cornerback next. Who knows?
Caleb.
Wow. Okay. All right. Caleb Farley. Wow. All right. So, Caleb Farley. If it weren't for the injury concerns, Caleb Farley would have been the best cornerback in the draft. But because he has back injuries, he fell a little farther back to the back end of the first round. So, Caleb Farley, though, is still a really good player. He's got some ball skills that even surpass Patrick Surtain. He's got some really great upside. Yeah, Christian Darrisaw has just been picked up by the Minnesota Vikings. I'm surprised Christian Darrisaw fell this far back, 10 picks back. Because for a long time, a lot of people had Christian Darrisaw taken to the Los Angeles Chargers. So it is a little surprising that the Minnesota Vikings traded back to getting Christian Darrisaw at 23. It's a little surprising, but very great pick, well-deserved. They needed an offensive tackle. Yeah, this is a very great pick for them. Najee Harris has officially been picked by the Pittsburgh Steelers. The first running back off of the board, and a lot of people had a running back taken for the Steelers in this draft. Sometimes I hadn't. I had initially an offensive tackle or the likes of a cornerback or an inner offensive lineman, but there's a lot of fans who really thought that they could get Najee Harris, and they just got Najee Harris. So, yeah, they get a good running back. I guess the hope is the next picks for the Steelers, they can get some more protection for Ben Roethlisberger and whoever else leads the quarterback position for the Steelers. What? They take a running back first before a safety or an offensive tackle or a linebacker or an edge rusher? Or even a... Look. Here's my beef. Okay? Travis Etienne is a pass running back. Okay? They don't need a pass running back this early in the draft. They could have taken the best safety. They could have taken the best inner defensive lineman. They could have taken even J.O.K. or Tevin Jenkins or Rondale Moore or Rashad Bateman. Yeah, I'm sorry. I completely disagree with the Jaguars pick right here. They could have taken a running back at any point during the second or very first pick of their third round for a running back. That's what I believe. So the fact that they just took Travis Etienne, literally right after Najee Harris got taken. I'm sorry, I don't believe that pick. I think that is a step back on the Jaguars' part.
Knew something.
Wow. No. No. No, that's an unfortunate pick. Greg Newsome the second. He is a cornerback, but he is from Northwestern. And while I get the need for a cornerback, you could have taken the best interdefensive line in the draft. You could have taken Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. You could have even taken the likes of Azeez Ojulari in the Browns. All of those picks, in my opinion, were way better picks than taking Greg Newsome.
Shot.
Wow. Rashad Bateman. Okay. All right, Rashad Bateman, wide receiver, taken off the board to the Ravens. So Rashad Bateman, wide receiver from Minnesota. He's got some nice big arms. He's very fast. And he plays as a slot wide receiver. And so, a lot of picks for the Ravens to choose from. So, a lot of wide receivers. They could have taken an edge here, but there's like 3 different edge rushers available right now. So, they could very likely take an edge rusher in their 31st pick in the draft, because they got their 31st pick by trading their offensive lineman Orlando Brown Jr. to the Chiefs for the Chiefs' first-round draft pick. So the Chiefs don't have a pick until late in the second round. So that's why the Baltimore Ravens have 2 first-round draft picks. Oh my God. Peyton Turner. Okay. Peyton Turner is the edge rusher for Houston. He is like the 7th or 8th best edge rusher right now in comparison to, I'm going to list this off on my computer, okay? Jalen Phillips, Kwity Paye, Azeez Ojulari, Joe Tryon, Jason Owe, Carlos Basham Jr., and then Peyton Turner. What? They don't take a wide receiver at least? They don't take any one of those 6 edge rushers that I had just mentioned. What, like, why? Why? There's 4 other available edge rushers available for the Saints to have taken, and they took Peyton Turner? Bruh. Eric Stokes. Well, and as I had thought previously, the Packers were not going to take a wide receiver in the first round. Since the last year, they have not done that. I don't think they've even. How long have the Packers not chosen a wide receiver in the first round? If anybody can tell me that, please let me know, because I actually don't know the answer to that. But last year they definitely didn't. This year they definitely didn't. But they choose Eric Stokes, who is the cornerback from Georgia. And he is technically the next best cornerback available. And while I'm not a fan of that pick, I do agree with them needing another cornerback. Interesting. Okay. So the Buffalo Bills have taken Gregory Rousseau. He is an edge rusher from Miami. So Gregory Rousseau was originally in the first round. But as of last month, he started falling back for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because of injury concerns. I don't know if he just put on weight. I don't know if he's gotten into fights. But regardless, without really knowing what happened leading up to it, he did fall very far back to like the 53rd pick. So, which was a little surprising. I didn't exactly understand why. But the Buffalo Bills did take an edge. Jayson Oweh. Okay. So the Baltimore Ravens, with their second pick, have chosen an edge rusher, which I had predicted that they were going to choose next after taking a wide receiver. And I like the pick. I mean, that was their next best need. They fulfilled that next best need. I'm a little surprised, though, that Azeez Ojulari and Joe Tryon, whom I had believed were ahead of Jayson Oweh, would not get picked. So, yeah, I'm very excited for the Ravens to get essentially a need that they wanted. Joe Tryon. All right, well, another edge rusher to finish off the first round of the 2021 NFL Draft. So really quickly, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have chosen the edge defender Joe Tryon from Washington. Now, I have heard very good things about Joe Tryon. He is a freak athlete. He has as much upside as the last edge rusher that got taken away, Jayson Oweh, was. So Joe Tryon, very, very good prospect, and they essentially get a luxury pick, and the Super Bowl champions essentially beef up those defensive edge players. So their defense have just gotten a lot more dangerous. So very good pick for the Buccaneers.